Imagine this for a moment. Someone disrespects you. They cross a line. They expect a reaction. Your anger. Your explanation. Your emotional explosion. But instead, you do nothing. No reply. No argument. No confrontation. Just calm silence. And strangely, that silence hits them harder than any insult ever could. Today, we're going to talk about why ignoring toxic people hurts them more than confronting them, and how Stoicism quietly mastered this art centuries ago. Most people believe that standing up to toxic people means arguing, explaining, or proving them wrong. We're taught that silence is weakness, that if you don't respond, you lose. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. It teaches that your attention is your most valuable currency, and where you place it decides who really has power over you. Before we go deeper, if you enjoy content that helps you build emotional strength, mental clarity, and unshakable self-control, make sure you like this video and subscribe to Stoic Code. This channel is all about helping you move through life with calm confidence, especially in a noisy, chaotic world. Now let's continue. Toxic people thrive on reactions. That's their fuel. They provoke not because they want resolution, but because they want control. When you confront them, even politely, you're still giving them what they crave, emotional engagement. Your words, your tone, your energy, all of it becomes proof that they matter enough to disturb your inner peace. Stoics understood something powerful. You don't defeat chaos by wrestling with it. You defeat it by refusing to be pulled into it. When you ignore toxic behavior, you remove the stage they perform on. And without an audience, the performance collapses. Think about it. When someone insults you and you argue back, the conflict continues. When you explain yourself, they twist your words. When you defend your boundaries emotionally, they test them again. But when you calmly withdraw your attention, something uncomfortable happens for them. They're forced to sit alone with their own behavior. Silence becomes a mirror. And many toxic people hate mirrors. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Toxic people live off imagined power, the belief that they can control how others feel. When you stop reacting, you shatter that illusion. Suddenly, they're no longer the puppet master. They're just a person talking into empty space. Ignoring is not about being passive. It's about being selective. Stoicism never teaches avoidance out of fear. It teaches discipline. The discipline to choose peace over ego. The discipline to understand that not every battle deserves your energy. There's also something deeply unsettling about being ignored. Confrontation allows toxic people to justify themselves. It gives them arguments. Silence gives them none. They replay the interaction in their head, wondering why they didn't get the reaction they expected. That uncertainty bothers them far more than anger ever could. In Stoic philosophy, external events are neutral. What hurts us is the judgment we attach to them. When someone behaves toxically, the Stoic response is not, "How do I change them?" but "Why should their behavior disturb my inner state?" By ignoring them, you're not saying they're right. You're saying they're irrelevant. And that distinction matters. Toxic people often measure their worth by the impact they have on others. If they can upset you, they feel powerful. If they can pull you into drama, they feel seen. Ignoring them removes their sense of importance. It quietly tells them, "You don't have access to me." This is why ignoring hurts more than confrontation. Confrontation keeps the emotional connection alive. Ignoring cuts the cord completely. But let's be clear. Ignoring does not mean suppressing your emotions. Stoicism never asks you to pretend you're unaffected. It asks you to process emotions internally rather than broadcasting them to people who don't deserve that access. You can feel anger. You can feel disappointment. You can feel hurt. You just don't have to hand those emotions to someone who will misuse them. There's a story often attributed to Epictetus, where a man insults him publicly. Instead of reacting, Epictetus simply nods and says, "If only he knew my other faults." That response wasn't weakness. It was mastery. He refused to let another person decide his emotional state. That's the power ignoring gives you. When you confront a toxic person, you're still playing their game. Their rules. Their timing. When you ignore them, you change the game entirely. You move on. You grow. You redirect your energy toward things that actually improve your life. And here's something most people don't realize. Ignoring also protects your reputation. Toxic people often want you to react so they can label you as dramatic, sensitive, or aggressive. Silence leaves them with nothing to point at. They look unreasonable. You look composed. Stoicism places great importance on character. Not reputation built on noise, but character built on consistency. Calm. Integrity. Self-restraint. Ignoring toxic people aligns perfectly with that principle. Over time, something interesting happens. Either the toxic person escalates, revealing themselves fully to everyone else, or they disappear because there's no reward left. Either way, you win without fighting. Now, this doesn't mean you tolerate abuse. Stoicism supports boundaries. If someone repeatedly crosses them, distance is not cruelty, it's clarity. You don't owe everyone access to your thoughts, your feelings, or your time. Ignoring is sometimes the most respectful thing you can do for yourself. As we talk about this on Stoic Code, remember this core idea: your peace is not negotiable. Every time you engage with toxicity, you pay with your energy. Every time you choose silence, you invest that energy back into yourself. And that's why ignoring hurts toxic people more than confrontation. Because confrontation feeds their ego. Ignoring starves it. If this perspective resonates with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever noticed how silence changed a situation in your life? Drop a comment below and share your experience. Your insight might help someone else who's struggling with the same thing. And if you found this message valuable, share this video with someone who needs a reminder that peace is power. Quiet strength is still strength. And sometimes, the strongest response is no response at all. This is Stoic Code. And here, we choose calm over chaos, always.